this video, we're going to explore digital distribution, part of the place element of the 4 Ps of the marketing mix. The place element is not only about where you sell your product or service, but it's also about the distribution channels that you use to get that product or service to your customer. Digital distribution is more important than ever, and we will examine exactly what this means and analyse both the advantages and the disadvantages of choosing this method of distribution. But what is digital distribution? Well, it's products or services that are distributed digitally. So, services that you use every day, like Spotify, Netflix, and Xbox Live, are using digital distribution to provide you with the media you want when you need it. As the internet continues to grow in importance, many products and services are now distributed digitally via e-commerce using a website or m-commerce using an app. This is where there is no physical product to be sent to the customers, and instead they stream or download the product directly. Good examples of this are music, films, newspapers and books. The days where these products would be proudly stacked on shelves throughout your house are long gone, and many of us now don't own a DVD or a CD and access these types of products purely digitally. Digital distribution is growing all the time, and it's important for businesses to keep up to date with the latest developments in technology and with what their competitors are doing so that they don't get left behind. Remember, some businesses will have multiple different distribution channels, such as a physical store, an e-commerce store, and a catalogue that customers can use to order from. This is called multi-channel or omni-channel distribution, and it gives customers a choice of different ways of purchasing a product or a service. To give you an example of what I mean, W.H. Smith's, the popular bookstore, may have a physical store on your high street. They have their website to order books directly to your door, but they also allow books to be purchased and accessed completely digitally through a Kindle or other e-book readers. To all the teachers out there, show all of these videos without any ads and gain access to our growing library of over 500 teaching worksheets. Why not visit BizzWizard.co.uk to find out more? The number one mistake I often see people make is they think that if they have ordered a product on Amazon and it is delivered the next day, that this is digital distribution, as the product was ordered online, or some might say digitally. But make sure you avoid this common mistake. If a product is delivered to you, this is physical distribution. You have ended up with a tangible product which you can touch and could easily sell on to somebody else. If you were to purchase an e-book or an e-comic from Amazon, which you read on a device and never receive a physical book, this is what is meant by digital distribution. Let's meet Jake Delgado, this video's main example and the lead star of a new Western TV show called Over the Range. This is the exclusive premiere TV show for a new TV streaming service similar to Netflix and Amazon Prime Video called WestFlix. The founders of this Western-only streaming service are convinced that the Over the Range series is going to be the big pull for many potential customers who have a passion for Wild West cinema and will try the streaming platform simply to watch this show. WestFlix will use digital distribution as they do not send out physical movies or TV shows on a disc. Their customers can access this content on their games console, smart TV, or the popular home media servers like Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, or the Roku. Bring this video and over 100 more to life with fun, interactive games, quizzes, and case studies. Why not try the first 25 completely free by visiting BizzWizard.co.uk. There are many reasons that the founders of WestFlix may have decided to only operate using digital distribution, but there are also some important downsides which they must consider. So let's start with taking a look at some of the important advantages of using digital distribution channels. The first, and possibly most important advantage, is that the costs can be significantly cheaper than using physical distribution channels. The business does not need physical stores that customers can visit. and they do not have to ship and pack physical products. These savings can be used to improve other areas of the business, such as advertising or employee motivation. An example which should help to understand this core advantage of digital distribution would be to consider video game consoles and the recent shift over to digital-only consoles which do not have a disk drive. Why are PlayStation and Xbox pushing this on the consumer? Well, think about it. Imagine the huge savings of not having to write the game to a physical disc, which comes in a case with printed artwork and needs to be shipped to the store or to the customer directly. The costs involved here are simply far greater than you downloading the game from their virtual store. Using digital channels can also have the advantage of allowing a business to easily access a wider market. Businesses are not just restricted to selling to customers in their local area, but instead can potentially access customers from all over the world. As an example, WestFlix plans to make their streaming service available in the USA and across Europe. This would be significantly more work to do using physical distribution channels. Next up, you can make your product or service available to people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This adds huge convenience to the customer as they can access what they need around their own schedule. Think about WestFlix. Their customers can watch over the range whenever suits them, during the day or the early hours of the morning. It makes no difference. The final advantage that we will consider, although there may be a few more that we have not covered, is that once a customer is using a digital platform like WestFlix, there are many ways that you can gain insight into your customer's behaviour. For example, WestFlix can easily check viewer data to see how many viewers are streaming Jake's new TV show over the range. This can help them make decisions over whether to produce another series or drop the show entirely. Each of the video courses over at BizzWizard.co.uk also includes an interactive business case study that applies the knowledge learned to a real-world scenario. There are over 1,000 multiple-choice questions, each with detailed feedback, which tests students' understanding of the content. Why not visit BizzWizard.co.uk to find out more? However, digital distribution can have its disadvantages. The founders of WestFlix have recently found out the hard way that the cost of creating a website, especially a streaming platform, can be very high. Not only is it expensive to create, but it needs to be maintained, developed, and improved over time. And hiring the developers with the required skills really doesn't come cheap. The next key disadvantage of digital distribution is that it requires all of the technology at both ends to be working correctly. What I mean here is there's nothing more frustrating for us as customers than when you sit down to stream a movie or stick on some music with Spotify and the service is not working properly, or it's completely down. If we take as an example the founders of WestFlix, if they have hundreds of thousands of people trying to stream Jake's new show and the servers crash, this could be an absolute nightmare for WestFlix and their team. This leads us to our next disadvantage, which is that it can also be harder to provide customer service, particularly when customers are based all over the world in different time zones. Making sure that your website or app has the functionality to deal with customer service issues is extremely important, and failing to do this can have a negative impact on your brand. Finally, if you do end up with a large proportion of your business coming from overseas, then you are at more of a risk from changes in the exchange rate. A lower pound could be good for sales, but if the value of the pound increases, this can hurt those sales, as now your digital products or services will appear much more expensive to your overseas customers. These fees will need to be carefully monitored by the WestFlix team, as changes such as these can impact their ability to maximise profits, or in some cases, even survive. Remember, if you decide to go down the multi-channel distribution route, meaning that you have a combination of different distribution channels, including digital and physical, then you may be able to reach a higher number of customers, as they now have more ways to buy from you. You may also be able to charge different prices for these different channels, depending on the costs involved. For example, if somebody buys a digital version of your book, this could be much cheaper than a physical copy. Having greater visibility through these different distribution channels can also help you generate greater brand awareness, and you may find new customers as a result of including digital distribution. However, always remember, more channels of distribution means more complexity and more costs, and it's important to aim to deliver the same high standards of customer service across all of the channels that you decide to use. If you get an exam question about digital distribution, it's important to use all of the information you're given in the case study to help evaluate the pros and cons of using this channel. Be careful. Often students explain the benefits to the customer of digital distribution, but usually the question will be focused on the benefits or limitations to the business instead. If you are asked whether a business should add digital distribution, it will depend on the type of market they operate in, the type of customers that they have, and importantly, what their competitors are doing. But used correctly, this distribution method can be the key to success in the 21st century. This has been the BizzWizard. See you in the next video.